presenting my paper, which has titled Public Moral as Justification for Prohibiting Cross-Border Gambling Service in Indonesia. Recent from WTO US gambling case. I put some work in front of you just to make sure you understand what I'm saying. There are several problems from my title. First, under the WTO, each member must establish a regulation commitment that consists of a list of services that can be open or closed for foreigners. However, Indonesia commitment is vague. Make the gambling service has been rampant, and the presence of cross-border gambling service create some detrimental effects. In WTO US gambling case, US prohibit cross-border gambling because it is necessary to protect public morale. My thesis statement is that by lesson learned from WTO US gambling case, I want to explore the way in which Indonesia can also justify prohibiting cross-border gambling service. The reason why I choose US gambling case because first, this is the first case that interpret and decide public moral. This is one of the most WTO cases. You can easily get the brief snapshot through this link. Secondly, because this is the first and still the only case under WTO that discuss cross-border gambling. And finally, Indonesia can also learn the way US Federal Act prohibit cross-border gambling. I will explain the definition of cross-border gambling service by answering three basic questions: what, how, and who. What cross-border gambling service? Of course, it is a gambling, online casino, online poker, and etc. And also how this service are operated by using internet as a primary tool, and who this is operated by supplier from one member of WTO provide gambling to another territory of WTO member. I can show you the example of cross-border gambling service company because cross-border gambling is the most profitable internet business around the world, and some of company become a sponsor of very huge soccer club. Yeah, so you can imagine how profitable they are. Okay, there are some detrimental effects of cross-border gambling, but in my report I just mentioned two main reasons. First, because of money laundering. Why? Because in cross-border gambling service, usually they use method of payment e-cash and using technology inscription that make all transactions completely anonymous. You can see from this link the way e-cash works. Secondly, related with underage gambling, this service is very popular, attractive, not only for adults, but also for children, because you can easily get the complete tutorial how to play online gambling, and also in some websites provide a gambling game for kids. Secondly, because it's internet, so 24 hours available all day, all night, unlimited time of operation. And finally, unlike physical traditional gambling, there is no lack of act verification in cross-border gambling service. Now, after I mentioned the descriptive part, now I mention my rule and analysis. Basically, under the WTO, there are two main exceptions. First, exception based on special economic situation, and exception based on non-economic. And public moral is exception based on non-economic situation. It is regulated under Article 20 GATT, General Agreement Tariff and Trade, or Article 15, General Agreement on Trade in Services. Basically, under those two articles, each member of WTO can impose a measure that contradict to the WTO provision if it is necessary to protect public moral, as long as it applies in non-discriminatory basis. And you can see from the previous 3 WTO case, judicial body, in this context panel and appellate body, satisfy and grant exception if they satisfy with 2 main conjunctive elements. First is if measure is necessary, and secondly, if the measure is applied based on non-discriminatory basis. In US gambling, this case was very interesting. One of the most popular WTO case is not only because US was defeated by Antigua, tiny country in the Caribbean, and the case starts when the US, through the implementation of 3 federal acts, Wire Act, Travel Act, and Illegal Gambling Business Act, prohibit cross-border gambling service. Why? Because US argue that there are some detrimental effect of cross-border gambling service. They can incur of some money laundering, public health, fraud, and also underage gambling. In the other hand, Antigua complained to the WTO because Antigua think that US violate commitment under the WTO because basically US open market for gambling but prohibited. The another factor because the prohibition from the US significantly impact the economic of Antigua because in Antigua 75% income come from gambling service and the consumer from cross-border gambling service at that time 65% come from America. And in the dispute process, the panel and appellate body basically agree that the prohibition was necessary because they agree that the protection from the negative impact of cross-border gambling service is protect the basic interest of American people. Furthermore, because also the protection serves societal interests that are vital and important in the highest degree. Moreover, Antigua, as a complaining party, failed to provide reasonable, available alternative measure. Despite the fact that the prohibition was necessary, both panel and appellate body eventually decide that the prohibition was illegal. Why? Because it was unjustifiable discrimination. Why? Because US prohibited all foreign suppliers, but they allowed the operation of local suppliers in gambling. In this context, in horse racing. In the situation of Indonesia, the prohibition of Indonesia also necessary because it, of course, is protect the basic interest of Indonesia community, and then the protection from the negative impact of cross-border gambling serves societal interests that are vital and important in the highest degree. And of course, there is no reasonable available alternative besides prohibition. If Indonesia want to prohibit, if Indonesia want just to restriction, to make restriction, it means legalize. We had experience to liberalize gambling and it didn't work at all. And unlike US, if US classified as a unjustifiable discrimination, the prohibition of Indonesia would not be unjustifiable because Indonesia government, in this context police, has tried to embattle local gambling website, although it hasn't been effective yet. From my recommendation, I tried to make some comprehensive strategy for prohibiting cross-border gambling in Indonesia, both international level and national level. In international level, the first thing to do is how Indonesia should modify the commitment by expressly excluding the cross-border gambling. Indonesia can learn from Malaysia and Thailand that expressly prohibited cross-border gambling, and also Indonesia should conduct negotiation and consultation to make sure and to anticipate if the prohibition would not fall would fall in arbitrary or unjustifiable. In national level, there are some action, preventive action, repressive action, educational action. In the preventive action, in the substance of national law should expressly prohibit supplier located outside Indonesia to provide service in the territory of Indonesia. This is vision from US Travel Act. And for the repressive action, I just mentioned the role of police, how they can get more powerful authority to block and to cooperate with another relevant party. And for the educational action, of course, intensify the role of NGO and media. It happened in Germany. In Germany now in April 2014, now there are some negotiation, consultation between Germany and US because Germany think that online gaming produced from US contains some violence material. And for short-term and temporary action, I suggest that parents should download software that can block online gaming action. This happened in Australia. Australia is a country who expressly allow online gambling, but to prevent from the underage gambling, the government protect through providing special online gambling software. To sum up, Indonesia has provisional justification to prohibit cross-border gambling service because it is necessary to protect